Your attention is being hijacked. You're sitting your daily commute, surrounded by the familiar sights and sounds of the city, when suddenly you notice a car that catches your eye. Maybe it's a new model or a unique color. And then, as if out of nowhere, you start seeing that exact same car everywhere. You see on the road, in parking lots, even in ads on your social media feeds. It's as if the car has multiplied overnight, and you can't help but wonder if some new trend has emerged. But has it really? You start to feel like you're seeing things, like the world has changed in some fundamental way. But the truth is, the world hasn't changed. Your filter has. This phenomenon is known as the frequency illusion, and it's a result of two powerful systems in your brain combining to create a distorted view of reality. Selective attention flags the car every time it appears, making you more sensitive to it, and confirmation bias makes each new sighting feel like proof of a real spike. Your brain didn't make the car more common. It just made you more aware of it. This is a classic case of how your attention can be hijacked by your own brain, making you see patterns and trends that aren't really there. The same systems that kept your ancestors alive, alerting them to potential dangers and opportunities, are now hijacking your focus every few seconds, making you see the world in a way that's not entirely accurate. But that's only half of it. Another way your attention is hijacked is through choice overload. You open a streaming app, and you're faced with thousands of shows to choose from. You start scrolling, and before you know it, 20 minutes have passed, and you still haven't made a decision. You're overwhelmed by the sheer number of options, and you end up giving up and re-watching something you've already seen. What's happening here is that the mental effort and anxiety of choosing well are increasing exponentially with the number of options. You're not just choosing a show, you're comparing far more possibilities, and you're worried about missing out on something better. This can lead to a kind of decision paralysis, where you're so overwhelmed by the choices that you end up making no choice at all. Researchers have demonstrated this phenomenon in studies, such as the famous jam study, where a table offering 6 jams generated more purchases than a table offering 24, even though the larger display attracted more initial interest. But how does this relate to the frequency illusion? Both phenomena demonstrate how your attention is being hijacked by your own brain. In the case of the frequency illusion, your brain is creating a distorted view of reality by making you more sensitive to certain things. In the case of choice overload, your brain is overwhelmed by the sheer number of options, making it harder to focus and make a decision. Both cases show how your attention is being pulled in different directions, making it harder to concentrate and make sense of the world. But that's still not the whole story. Another way your attention is being hijacked is through the peak end rule. You go on a holiday, and it's a mix of good and bad experiences. There's one amazing sunset, one terrible argument, and a lot of mediocre days in between. But when you look back on the holiday, you remember it as great, mostly because of that one amazing sunset and a nice final morning. Your memory isn't averaging every moment of the experience. It's disproportionately shaped by the most intense point, the peak, and however it ended. This means that your memory is biased towards the extremes, and it's ignoring the boring middle stretches. This has been demonstrated in studies, where people rated a painful procedure as less unpleasant overall when a mild extra period was added at the end, even though this meant more total pain. So what does this mean about trusting your own mind? It means that your perception of reality is filtered, and that your attention is being hijacked by your own brain. It means that you need to be aware of these biases and distortions and take steps to correct them. You need to be mindful of the frequency illusion and not assume that just because you're seeing something more often, it's actually more common. You need to be careful when faced with too many choices and try to narrow down your options to a manageable few. And you need to be aware of the peak end rule and not judge an experience solely on its most intense moments. In the end, understanding how your attention is being hijacked is the only way to take it back. By being aware of these biases and distortions, you can start to see the world in a more accurate way and make better decisions. You can start to focus on what really matters and not get distracted by the constant stream of information and stimuli that's competing for your attention. So take a step back and try to see the world in a new light. Subscribe to our channel for more insights into the workings of a human mind. And join us next time as we explore more fascinating topics in the world of psychology.